Hey YouTube, we're back with another antique tools and things from the past video. I apologize for taking so long to upload, but y'all, it's been hot as everything down here in Georgia. It's been staying between 97 and 100 degrees in a couple days where the actual temperature was over 100 degrees. And in this concrete block barn, yeah, it holds heat. Right now it's in the 70s outside. Yeah, it's about 85, 90 degrees in here. So, imagine what this place is like on a 100-degree day. Yeah, and no wind blowing. Yeah, you're just not going to stay in here very long. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing we've got here, I'm not sure if this is the tool that you use to push a wine bottle cork into the bottle, or if it's the one for the metal caps. I'm not sure. Well, I know you're never gonna see it, but it has a rubber gasket in there to push with. So anyway, it's one of the two, that's for sure. You'd stick your bottle under there with your cork or cap, whichever this is meant to do, and you just push it down, and you're done. Just that simple. Now, this one I don't believe is all that old, because all the real old ones that I saw were always cast iron, and this one's pressed sheet metal and welded or I don't know if that's welded or soldered, but anyway, it's not cast iron. I don't believe it's all that old. And this thing had actually been sitting in over in my side building, and I knew it was in there, but I hadn't until I pulled it out. I hadn't seen the thing in probably 20 years. But either way, I had to oil it up and get it all working again. I don't believe I'll ever use it because I've never had a need to recork or recap anything. So there's that. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Now, this is not uncommon at all. You can actually buy one of these today in 2023, brand new. But this is a brace. It works just like a modern drill. Well, almost like a modern drill. Shove your drill bit or whatever woodworking bit in there that you're going to use. Tighten it back down. And I'll explain why that's shiny, and the rest of it's rusty in a minute. And then now these things, this one's froze up now because it is actually an old one. You could make these things work in reverse. See? Obviously, I don't know how to use this thing that well. Yeah, that would lock it right there where, to drill with. If you turned it, then it would, work like a ratchet. I'm sure that, yeah, it would work like a ratchet for you. Anyway, just turn that to select what you need. I don't know how it came to be, but this was one of my granddaddy, or most likely it was more likely my great grandfather Pinky, one of his tools. It's more likely what it was. Because, this one was used so much that the knurling there on it's just about wore off. Somebody really used it, and you see finish off the handle is light and dark, where somebody was actually using this thing. But the reason, I don't know what, I guess the chuck part of it, the reason that that's shiny and looks so weird compared to the rest of it is because at some point somebody or some company, probably in China, reproduced this exact model. My brother had one that come from Big Lots. You know, everything they sell is Chinese garbage. They're about like Harbor Freight. But anyway, back in the 90s, my brother had a new remake of one of these, and for something happened to this, and he took the parts out of that and stuck into this, and it worked. In fact, you know what? Hang on, YouTube. I think I've still got the one that that my brother bought from Big Lots. Hold on. Well, YouTube, I guess I was wrong. I guess this wasn't the one that my brother had. But looking at this one, you can tell that it's fairly old, but it's nowhere near as old as this one. And you know, it has the, okay, this is the one that was froze up. Anyway, that one's, you know, whatever. I'm sure somebody had the time, they could make this thing work again. But yeah, I've only ever used that one time, and that was to drill a couple holes in a plank of wood that I was using on my little Sears 60s model Elgin fiberglass boat. I used it one time, and quite honestly, if I had to use it, I could use it and not really have that much of a problem with it. I mean, it's a little slow, but you know, whatever. All right, YouTube, let's move on to the next thing before I waste too much time here with this. This thing, I'm relatively certain that Missouri Old Timer and John Strange, those two guys actually take time to watch all my videos. Appreciate that, fellas. I really do. I'm sure that those two will know exactly what this is. But I'm sure some of these younger fellers ain't gonna have no damn clue what this is. In fact, when I first found it in here when I was cleaning up years ago, I didn't know what it was. But it's got a threaded hole here. You would have it mounted on a workbench, something like this, or I guess however it worked for you. Back in the old days when car tires still were primarily inner tubes, you take the inner tube off, and wherever your hole was, you would this is a cut up inner tube that I use to make gaskets. You'd put it down there, put your patch down there, glue it, you know. Then you could latch it down and you know, glue it. Some people I've seen set that old glue on fire, something about to vulcanize it. Yeah, I ain't never had a lot of luck with that. In fact, by the time when I was young and patching bicycle tires, it worked pretty good back then. But towards the time when it come time for me to start driving, and you know, and I put bicycles away. Last few times I've tried to patch a bicycle inner tube, it just ain't worked. I don't know if something's changed with the materials or what, but I ain't had no luck in recent years trying to patch no bicycle inner tube. But that's what this is, and I do believe these came in a larger and maybe two or three more sizes. I'm assuming for the size that you whatever size hole you were patching. But anyway, that's what that is. It holds your tire patch in place. Alright, YouTube, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, YouTube, this is the last thing we got right here. I'm sure everybody knows what the hell that thing is, but for those that might not know, it's a lawnmower. Now, I don't know the proper name for it, but every old timer I've ever heard talking about them called them a real type mower. Now, there was a motorized version of these. It had an engine that was set up here, and then a gear, and then all this was spun off of a gear. And you know, you pushed it around and you mowed your grass. Back here, this was a device that held a bagger, which somehow connected either up here or right here, which that's gone. I don't have it, and I've never had it. Little girl, I see you creeping up here. Don't you go sneaking in. Don't you dare go sneaking in that barn. You get locked up in there. Them old rats in there whoop you. Come here, little girl. Little girl, come on. Come on, baby. What, are you camera shy now, darling? Well, anyway, that's about all I got to say about this thing. I used it one time. Yeah, about 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, I put this thing away and said I'd never use it again. But I guess today I'm going to demonstrate it because there's a couple of things about it. There's a lot of time people, us guys in the modern times, or will tell you, put like valve lapping compound on here and run it. Well, I guess it doesn't run backwards anymore, but they would tell you to run it backwards to sharpen the blades. And anyway, I was always told you just needed to run it backwards to sharpen the blades, which, you know, I don't know how true that is or ain't, so I'm not gonna really debate that, but I guess I will give y'all a quick overview of how this thing works. It's really simple. You just grab the handle and push. YouTube, you gotta really want to cut some damn grass to use that thing. Remember, that blade spinning is because it's being turned off the gears, and that's not a speed reduction gear setup. That's a speed increase setup. And so yeah, you're really working to use that thing to cut grass with. Okay, YouTube, I guess I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. I would appreciate it if you would take the time to like, comment, subscribe, and go on and share this video with your friends. Okay, YouTube, y'all be good. Have a nice day.